everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy. Rick, so glad that you are here today.
Glad to be here.
As everyone kind of knows, and I tried to email as many people and I posted everywhere, we were supposed to have some guests on this show I was actually really, really excited, but unfortunately he had to cancel and also Tommy couldn't make it. So I was just going to cancel in general. And then you were like, yeah, no. Like the show must go on. So we're just going to wing it. And I think it's going to bore a lot of people to talk about what you want to talk about, but I'm on the same page. So why don't you tell me what you think first, my brother?
So if you like Marvel, you may have been following what's going on because Marvel just fired Jonathan Majors because he was found guilty of 2 out of the 4 charges. So apparently, I think the bottom line is he unintentionally hurt his girlfriend. He didn't do it on purpose.
Okay, wait. That's your interpretation, but okay.
That's what I heard. That's what I understood.
You know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because the other 2 charges that got dropped were basically, no, he did what he was doing. He did it on purpose. But the other ones were like, no, yes, he hurt her, but he didn't mean to hurt her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, if this was Robert Downey Jr.,
no,
would this be happening?
I don't know if that's the same thing. Robert Downey Jr. didn't hurt somebody. He hurt himself, right? I mean, he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. I forget what it was, but that was a different thing.
No. I mean, if it was him in the exact same situation.
Oh, are you thinking this is a race thing?
I'm wondering.
Okay, and I'm usually not one to jump on the race thing, although I will call it out every time, even if people are resisting it, because I am a woman of color. But you know what? It's not that didn't even cross my mind. But when you bring up Robert Downey Jr., that's probably not the best
example
person, because his whole story, the thing that makes Robert Downey Jr. so great, besides the fact that he's an amazing actor and is the person born to play Iron Man, is his story that, how down and out he was and then he came back. So it's kind of a hard one to use. So how about if we use somebody else?
Chris Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth would never.
That's what I'm saying.
But Chris Hemsworth would never. Okay.
Right.
That's a better example, I guess.
Just all the evidence that I saw. Obviously, I didn't see everything. I wasn't in the court.
You weren't in court. And it was a jury trial, right? So here's my thing. I did not watch the whole trial. I did not pay attention to everything. But my whole issue is on the other side of it, because I want to trust our justice system. Here's what I'm going to say. Do we all remember what's his name, who was the Hulk before? We don't. What's his name? Edward Norton was the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
And after that one movie of the Hulk, he then was no longer the Hulk. And we have who? What's his name? Our beautiful man that we love.
You mean the one now or the other one?
Yes,
There was 3. There was 3.
No, our Hulk, the only Hulk that matters.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
Yes. Okay. So Iron Man, his right-hand guy, what's his name? In the first movie, it wasn't him. And then it's...
Oh, okay. The current one.
That's right. Okay. I forget
if Tony was here, he probably knew the names.
Tony gonna be here later. He said he's gonna stop by. But
Terrence Howard was the first one.
That's right. And then he got upset, or the story is he wanted as much money as Robert Downey Jr. And they were like, bye-bye, we're recasting you. Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to be mean, but even back then, Robert Downey Jr. was Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? So, but props to him. But yeah, whoever was cast now, I forget his name because I have not prepared clearly for this conversation. But I'm not so worried about the recast of his character, I guess is what I'm saying.
But have they definitely decided to do that, though?
Oh, they're going to. I think they will.
Because they said they could just take a whole different direction and just not do a Kang anything.
I mean, they could do that. I mean, I think time will tell. Jonathan Majors is a great actor and kind of like, Chadwick Boseman. Is that his last name? Yeah. From Black Panther. It's really hard to see anybody else in these roles, but time is moving on. And as we know from Black Panther, from the second one, from Wakanda Forever, we know that there's going to be another Black Panther. You know what I mean? So they're doing what they need to do to kind of change the roles.
Marvel, though, at the time said period, point blank, we are not recasting. That's what they said before. They could
What
change their
about Black
mind.
Panther? About Black
Black
Panther?
Panther, they said
But
absolutely
you
not.
saw Wakanda Forever.
Well, they have the kid now, but
Yeah,
that's
but
not.
he's going to be Black Panther. Are you confused by this?
No, but he's not the dad. He's the kid. He's a different person, different character.
You're saying he's a different Black Panther, and that matters to you because they made a continuation.
Yeah, it matters.
You're saying like if they had like a Black Panther 3 and they recast Chadwick Boseman, you would be against that.
I don't know if I'd be against it, but some people would. Some people.
But you're upset
really
about
offended.
Jonathan Majors. I love how connected you are to him.
Jonathan Majors, I think he's awesome. Like everything I've seen him in, which isn't a lot, but what I've seen him in, he's amazing. He's great. And I'm sorry, I keep seeing this big black man running from the skinny white woman. And I'm like, and he's the aggressor. He's literally like, he's running for his life. I'm like, this don't compute. What are you doing?
So listen, here's the thing. Okay, so can we just admit to something right now? You and I were not there, and I want to believe in our justice system. It's hard, but we need to bring back a way to believe in our institutions that keep us as a civil society. So let's start with the premise that he was found guilty, and that happened. Let's not just for this conversation. Let's just pretend that we agree. I agree with whatever the justice system decided. Let's talk about the second part of this, which I think actually is something I understand why you don't want him recast, right? Well, you can admit that they can recast him. You're upset about the justice system part.
I'm not even saying that I'm upset about him being recast or not. I'm just saying what I heard Marvel was saying, that they might just nix the whole, because with the end of Loki, they kind of put a bow on it there.
Put a bow on it so they can end it.
So they already knew ahead of time, like, just in case, let's just wrap this up.
Oh, so wait. I'm sure they did that a while ago, though, because, so again, I'm not trying to be condescending by any means, but movies are not made in, 3 months. This movie had already been done a long time ago before this even came to fruition, I'm positive. So that is not why they wrapped it up or put a bow on it. You know what I mean? Like that, they left it open so that he could come back. Right. You know what I mean? So, but I just saw people
somebody. It was really funny and amusing, and I was like, I could maybe see that. Somebody, people put faces on a different thing. They did Kang, but they did it as Denzel Washington. I was like,
okay, but Denzel's like, no offense, but isn't he like 65 now or something?
I mean, I don't think Kang is supposed to be a young character in the comics anyway.
Oh, I don't know the comics. Okay. I don't have a wall of Marvel behind me, so I'm not going to claim to know anything more than you do. Okay. But there are a lot of the other young, vibrant, wonderful men who could play that role. Dare I say women, but you know what I mean? Like there are other people out there. Here's my thing, Rick. I did not follow the trial. I understand what you're saying. I think you're not upset with recasting the role. You're upset for the reason why. That's what it sounds like. You don't think it's fair.
I mean, I don't know. Look, I think Marvel was trying to be reasonable, and they were like, until the trial happened, there was no talk of firing him. But the minute, boom.
Well, because they were giving him due diligence, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Isn't that what we say we want all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you and I are working together and I'm convicted of beating someone to a pulp that they end up in the hospital, and I'm like, okay, Rick, we're going to do our show next week. Are you coming on? I'm just asking, are you coming on the show? About the joy. I was arrested, and
is it going to be an apologetic one?
I'm going to apologize, but I beat someone to a pulp almost to their death or something. Let's just say they're in the hospital, they're hurting, whatever, and it's been in the news, and I'm convicted, but I'm released on my own recognizance, whatever. Okay, whatever. Are you coming back on the show?
Maybe.
Because you're thinking of Jonathan. Look, it's a business, right? And your reputation matters. And I hear you, but the reason why Marvel did what they did, they wanted to keep him. And of course, they wanted to do the right thing. And I have to defend a corporation. You see what you're making me do? But I actually don't find them at fault for letting him go. I whatever the reasonings were for whatever he did, what he did, and whatever the jury found, and whatever they convicted him of, I don't fault Marvel for being, and his talent. That was the biggest one for me, was that his talent agency dropped him. You know what I mean? He got dropped everywhere.
Pretty much everybody except Marvel dropped him until the verdict came.
Right. But I think this is a business, and
I'm not surprised either. Just make
I'm not
clear.
surprised either. But I love that you're so sad for him.
He's a great actor. And then somebody was joking like, "Oh, Tyler Perry will take him. He'll make movies with Tyler." I was like, okay, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's gonna be fine. I mean, I hate to say this. I'm more concerned about all of poor young people who end up in prison or end up because they don't have great legal counsel or whatever. And, and then afterwards end up jailed or whatever for unfair, blah, blah, blah. I was just reading a thing today. I think it was in the LA Times, of these people who were just released, like after 32 years, after 42 years, and they were innocent. Wow. But they had one guy, this was actually, I don't think it was the LA Times, it was the California Sun. I was reading it this morning, and they were saying that a man was in jail for 12 years of his life. He was a teenager when he went in. He got out today because they relied on the witness, that they saw an eyewitness account. And they were able to prove that the eyewitness is legally blind and can't see 2 feet in front of him.
Wow.
Right. So, and the way he was exonerated, and I'll send you this link because I just read it today, was because his cellmate he's in there studying the law and was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. You need to have this checked out. And that's how he ended up and he got released this week.
Wow.
You're talking about a young man who was a teenager, and you know what I mean? So when we, and this is not to say, celebrities don't go through things or whatever, but when you have money, when you have the ability to afford whatever it is, therapy, lawyers, blah, 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 I'm good. I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. I wish you well, you know what I mean? But I'm not as concerned with them. I'm more concerned with people who have nothing and end up suffering, even if they did something. Right? Even if somebody made a mistake or committed a crime of some sort, it's more likely if you are poor that you will end up in jail than if you are rich.
True.
And that is not fair. That to me bothers me, but
not at all.
But I think Marvel's going to be okay. I think Kang going to be okay. I think we're going to recast. I'm sorry. I know what you're saying, but give it some time. That's a great character.
Yeah.
And no offense with Marvel's been getting on our nerves lately. They're not going to put that away and be like, we're going to go a different way. They will pull that out the minute they think they can find the right person.
And the good thing, thanks again to Loki and the TVA, there's variants. Freaking Sylvie is the Loki variant, a totally different person and a female.
Exactly.
So they can literally do anything.
Yeah, but I love that you're upset about the justice system and you think he shouldn't have been convicted.
I mean, from everything that I saw, I'm like, y'all crazy? Really?
Okay, what did you see? Because I didn't see it all. So what did you see?
So besides the running, the driver, who is not attached to either one of them personally, said she was being the aggressor. And he was just trying to be like, yo, stop. Because, she saw a text on his phone that said, I wish I could be kissing you. That could be anybody. A random weirdo fan said that. Right. You don't know. He's famous. Could be anybody. She took it all seriously. That could be anybody. So I think she overreacted. I understand it because it's like, you gonna kiss my man? What are you talking about?
No,
that's the gut. That's the first
baloney.
That's the first gut reaction. And then the whole when she was with these other people, when he I guess he really took off, and then she ended up being with these other people, went to the club, was partying, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, she's so injured and she hurt her finger and da 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 da. I'm like, listen, if you're in that much pain, you ain't gonna go and party. You're going to go home or go to the hospital. It's just too many things that didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so why do you think, from your perspective, because you clearly watched it and paid attention to it more than I have, I'm going to admit right there, why do you think they might have? You think it's because she was a woman and he was a man? Or is she a white woman and he's a black man?
She's a British white woman.
Okay.
So you know how Americans are with British, like, oh, I love your accent, da da da. Like, and you just sound truthful because you're British, da da da. Like, it's stupid, but
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
So,
I
so you
hate to
think
say
something
it.
might have been taken that way? You think some of that?
I hate to say it, but it's like, ooh, the big, angry, scary black man attacked the British white lady. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I could be totally wrong,
No, okay, no, I'm
but
open to that.
I don't
How
know why they
about,
voted how they did. I really don't get it.
was it a full jury or was it a
I
judge?
believe it was six. Yeah, six
It
people
was.
jury. I think 3 men, 3 women. I don't know what
It
their
can't be 6. Isn't it always 12?
is it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's always 12.
Okay.
I mean, the juries I've been on. Hey, Google, how many jurors have to be on a jury for a case in court? It's 12.
12. Okay.
Courts. Sa.gov.
Yeah.
California is among the majority.
Well, where was it? Was it in California?
I think New York.
Yeah, it's probably 12. I think it's always 12. I think it's
Okay.
always 12
Well,
jurors.
either way, I'm pretty sure it was split as far as gender, like half male, half female. Okay.
Thank you, Melanie.
Melanie confirmed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's 12 too.
I don't know what their races were.
I really want to live in a world where it isn't about race, but you're
Yeah.
not wrong. And God knows I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I do think there is something to be said for, and Dre and I talk about this all the time. It's not a popular point of view, but you know how like, it's always like, always believe the woman, always believe, you know what I mean? Like it's always believe the woman. And sometimes, that scale tips over a little bit and you're like, okay, you know what? You can't be doing A, B, C, and D and not have any responsibility to this and then expect all this to happen and you have no responsibility to it whatsoever,
Right.
But it's a really touchy subject because for so long, women were never believed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of where the weird thing is like,
Yeah.
I also, and again, I didn't watch it, so you can tell me. Look at Cynthia just throwing it out there. I'm trying to be all diplomatic.
You ain't wrong.
You can be combining too.
You ain't wrong.
You ain't wrong. Look at, I have a dear, beautiful friend who's a family member of mine who I love with all my heart, who we've had this conversation because his brother was for so long accused by a woman. And I know for a fact his brother would have never in a million, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine it. But it ruined his reputation and it ruined his life and it put him in therapy. And then she retracted it, like she apologized to him, but this went on for years. So I think because I know that story on a firsthand basis, I'm always, like we have to get to that place where we're not just always believing the woman. Like there has to be evidence. It has to be, but it's also because we're never believed. Women are never believed. So we're in a weird place,
Yeah. But
it's kind of like the thing with race. It's the same thing with race. I don't want everything to be about race, but until we get to that place,
it's like, wasn't it Emmett Till that the lady almost like when she got to the end of her life, she finally admitted, oh yeah, that didn't happen. I'm like,
in the elevator, right? She accused.
What?
Yeah, that's
Like,
I don't know if people know the story of Emmett Till, but you should watch the movie.
And it's like when somebody goes to jail for years and years and years, and then you find out, oops, you were innocent. Like, how do you pay back the mistreatment of him going to jail? Like,
wait, can we talk about something else though?
Sure.
How can you be the person to convict somebody knowing you're not sure? Like the eyewitness account of that story that I just told you about that I read in the California Sun today, the person is legally blind. So how did the defense or the prosecutors, how did that person be okay knowing they sent a poor young man to jail?
Right.
How do you live with yourself? And
how did nobody know? How did nobody
Huh?
know the person was legally blind? How does that not come out? Like, did he be like, the lawyer was like, listen, don't wear glasses, don't know, just go up there real slow, don't bump it in. Like, I don't get it.
Wait. You do know because, first of all, so let's talk from his point of view, from the person who was convicted. If you're poor, you're going to get some newbie lawyer who may not intentionally be horrible, but if you're new, you don't know what you're doing. right? So you're trying to defend somebody. You also, if you're a public defender, you don't have a lot of money and resources. You don't have investigators. You see where it's going here? And yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my brother-in-laws, Greg, when I was visiting back east, and we were talking about if his son had been convicted of anything, what would you do to get him out? We would do anything and everything to get this child out, right? With all of our connections, with whatever we got, we would do whatever. Not once did we say, you know what, but did he do it? It would, right? Because family, you're gonna be like, do whatever you got to do to get your child out. So that's how it happens. And when you have a lot of money, and I'm not saying this person has a lot of money, but when you have a lot of money, yes, it's like the story of the Central Park Five. Yes, exactly, Cynthia. When you have a lot of money, though, you can put anybody you want away. And you don't have to think about it. And you can hire doctors and experts and scientists and whatever. Do you know the story of Central Park Five?
I'm not sure.
So the Central Park Five were these young men who were accused of, I think it was rape and brutally beating this woman. She did not die. She was a runner in Central Park. And these young kids, 5 of them, were accused and put in prison for doing this to her. She was running in Central Park. And I could be wrong on all of this because, again, not prepared for this episode. I always do my reading, but she was running at night. She's a white woman. They were all Black, of course. And she was brutally raped and hurt or whatever. And they accused these 5 young men and put them in prison when they were teenagers. And they ended up getting out. Like, I don't even know how long it was, but a long time. They were adults. And the reason why it came up again recently is because Donald Trump at the time, and again, and even to this day, again, we're not going to talk about politics, but this is a good example. Well, no, because that's why everybody kind of brings it up again, because it came up again. Actually put out an ad in the paper saying that, yes, they should be convicted. Yes, they are bad people. Yes, they did it. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of double down on it with the power of the presidency, and they were found to be not guilty. And even the runner herself is unclear and unsure of who did it. So, imagine being beat up by 5 people. I don't want to talk about the rape part, but just imagine. Of course, you're traumatized. How you going to know everybody? And supposedly, there were all these circumstances. It was that nice. They didn't do it. They were told by their lawyers to plead guilty so they would get less of punishment. That's poverty right there. You have lawyers who are telling you to plead guilty. That's right, Cynthia. I forgot that part. Thank you, baby. That's the other part. They pleaded guilty because and like they did all the stuff you would think, keeping them up all day and all night, interrogating them over and over and over again. All the things that you would think that you see on like CSI or with Law and Order, all those shows. That's where kind of all that stems from. And they went through all that and they were kids. Imagine your child, your son, being locked away from his parents with no one who's really advocating for them. And they're being kept up all night. They're hungry, not eating, whatever. And they're being interrogated over and over and over again, being told, it'll be easier for you, son. It'll be easier for you if you just admit it. Look, it'll be easier. You'll just be in a regular jail. You won't be in solitary confinement and you're lacking sleep or whatever. Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know how it happens, baby. You know how it happens.
And that's why you always see, like, in movies and shows, when it's like a rich bad guy and they get caught and they always smile, they be like, I'll be out before the end of the day.
Because they will.
Yeah.
Because they have the right lawyers in place, So there is something wrong with our justice system. And I don't know the parameters of what happened with Mr. Majors. What's his name again?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, right. Okay. I think for me, what bothers me, and this I will say, this is not against him, but it's just in general. When did this happen exactly? I don't even know when it's happened. You already famous?
Yeah. I want to say in the spring, maybe.
And this is a girlfriend, right? Not even a wife or.
I think she lived with him.
Yeah.
But
so here's my thing. When you become a celebrity, you need to be extremely, extremely brilliant and smart and careful of who you put around yourself. And that is a really hard thing to do because fame is incredibly enticing and powerful feeling. And I had a taste of it like this much. I'm talking about like this. And I was a kid and, I thought I was famous in the world. I was just famous in my community. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. I have not forgotten that feeling. But even when you're on stage and the audience, there is that feeling. And I know you've experienced this, Rick, because you've been on stage singing in your choir where you know what I'm talking about. So imagine if it's every day and things are taken care of you, people around you, you have bodyguards, you have it's a whole different ball game that I have never experienced.
Right.
It is a very powerful thing, but that is when you have to be, or you have to have somebody in your corner telling you, that's not the right person to be dating. And you need to listen to those people.
Yeah, true.
You cannot play with that, you
Yeah.
know? So,
True.
yeah.
And I think he's going to, what do you call it when you go back?
Appeal it. He's going to
appeal it. I couldn't think of that word, but yeah, he's going to try to appeal it and, see what happens. That'll be interesting if he does and he wins. Then what's Marvel going to do? I mean,
well, it doesn't matter now because so business-wise, his reputation has been ruined.
Okay.
And it would be hard for them to take. So again, we go back to the example. I've beaten someone to a pulp. I was mad. They called me the N-word, whatever. I can justify it however I want. Okay. He touched me in the wrong place and we were at a bar. But he almost died. Okay. Let's say he almost died or whatever. And then I'm exonerated. Do you have me back? Are you going to work with me on my show?
I mean, if you're exonerated, hey.
I mean, but my reputation's ruined and it's going to rub off on you. I don't know. I mean, we don't.
Honestly, this is me.
Yes,
go
ahead.
You are my friend. I really don't give a rip about what nobody else thinks. So if I want to be on the show and y'all don't like it, you can go kick rocks. Okay.
Okay. That was a good answer. Oh, that's so cool. No,
I'm just saying.
People talk about forgiveness, right? We were talking about it a little bit last time, but we don't really do well with it.
Yeah.
The Jesus bobblehead would be very close to it. Right? That's so funny. But yeah, okay, what else you got? Did you see about Taraji? Did you? Woo!
Wow.
Okay, why don't you share what you know and then I'll tell you what I know. Go ahead.
I mean, it was hard to even watch because she got so emotional, justifiably. She even cussed a little bit. I was like, ooh, I don't usually hear cussing. But anyway, because I'm used to seeing her in like Tyler Perry stuff where it's all clean or whatever.
Right. And also that show, I mean, you're watching clips that were not edited, but she was being interviewed by what's her name? Gail? From CBS, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But
yeah, I don't remember. But she's like, well, it's ridiculous that it's like she can do really, really well, and everybody loves her, But then when she stops and she goes to a new project, it's like she's starting at ground zero all over again, and everything she did means nothing. Like, you treat me like I'm brand new, and it's ridiculous. She's like, I'm sick of this, and she's like, and I'm not doing this just for me. I'm doing this for everybody coming up behind me. And it's like, it was very emotional. Yeah.
It was very emotional. So I'm going to tell you the rest of it. So just to give people information. So if you don't know who Taraji, is it P. Henson? P?
I think so.
J? Anyway, she's in The Color Purple. She's going to be in The Color Purple and it's coming out December 25th. You should go watch it.
She should.
It's going to be remarkable. She plays Suge Avery. And she's so cute. The way she said, because people are like, we didn't know you could sing.
What?
But I loved this. She said, I can sing, but she can't sing. She can sing one time. I totally get it. Like, her voice isn't going to last over and over and over and over again. I loved that because I've never heard anyone talk like that about singing. And I was like, I totally get it, because your voice, you lose it after a while, So if you're not a trained singer, as you are.
What's funny is, it's not funny, but on my broadcast, I sing every one, right? But it's getting hard now because before, when I was living by myself, she said, Jay, when I was living by myself, I would sing all the time in the car, drive around. I sing all the time. Like, I'm always, because my mother said before you could talk, you were singing.
You were singing,
singing is a huge part of what I am. And now I have to be quiet. I can't make noise because she gets
Oh,
riled up. And I'm used to like upstairs, my speakers are blasting. I can't do that here. Everything has to be headphones. I can't make any noise because she gets confused and riled up and
right,
angry.
right,
So
right,
it's like, so I'm
right.
not singing anymore, except when I broadcast. And now it's like I have to keep drinking and putting cough drops in my mouth because like my throat can't take it.
Yeah, because people
So,
don't understand, like, to be a singer like Whitney Houston or Barbara Streisand or what you do, you need to be working on your tool all the time. It's like
yeah,
anything else; you're going to
yeah,
lose it if you're not working on it all the time.
yeah,
I didn't even realize you were going through that.
yeah, yeah.
That made such sense.
I think I've heard Taraji singing on like some Tyler Perry stuff. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah, no, she has. But what she was saying was because people kept telling her, like, "Oh, we didn't know you could sing, girl. Like, you should be." She's like, "No, I'm not that kind of singer." She was. It's kind of like when people talk about, because people say I'm funny. They're like, "You should be a comedian." Like, no, I could never write out a comedic and get on stage and be funny. I'm just funny sometimes in the moment in a crowd. That's not the same. Like, your skill level. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
She's not going to be doing a Broadway musical anytime soon.
well, she might. I don't know. She can kind of do anything. She's a great actress. I don't know. She can work on that tool. I have no idea. But she would probably say right now, no. But here's the part that let me just give a little bit of a tweak of what you said, because I think it's important. What she was talking about was that as a woman of color, she didn't say this, by the way, but we all read between the lines because we knew what she was saying.
Oh, yeah.
As a woman of color, people get on her because they'll say she made $10 million or she made $2 million. And people don't understand that what you're seeing is work with a whole group of people.
Right.
So she has to pay. So first of all, Uncle Sam takes 50%. So 10 million is now 5 million. And then she has to pay her staff, which is like 2.5 million or whatever it is, right? So now we're at 2.5. She did the numbers. She was doing her own numbers, whatever.
Yeah.
She has to pay her staff, which is the makeup people, the hair people. Her managers take, managers take 15%. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Managers take 5%, I guess, at that level. It depends on what you negotiate. Like with me, it would be 10%, but managers take 5%, and then her agents take 15%. So you dwindle that down, and now she's maybe at what, 1 million or 500,000. And anyone on the planet would be like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Because we're over here making our 60,000 or our 30,000 or whatever. So we're all crazed about it. Tony just said, I appreciate her. Right. When she broke down the numbers, it was awesome. So she got really emotional. She was crying because she was saying, if I can't, oh, wait, let me finish. So she broke down the numbers to let people know. And then she said, you know what? And then every time I go to renegotiate, and what she didn't say, but other people said, are white women or white men get 10 times more than a black woman does. And what she said was, every time I go to renegotiate, they throw in my face, I'm not marketable elsewhere. I don't relate to other people internationally, which is something. And she's been doing this for what, 10, 15, 20 years or something. And she started crying. And because she said, if I, with all of that power and prestige, if I can't get this so that we're getting paid or whatever, how is anyone else coming up behind me going to do it?
Right.
It was very emotional, but it gets worse. I don't know if you saw TikTok today. I saw a couple things on TikTok where people were watching them at a press junket. So all of the cast and Oprah, who's been on every press junket or whatever. And people were looking at the body language. And clearly there's something going on between Taraji and Oprah or whatever. I'm not going to analyze it because that's not what I do. But, it's kind of like if you and I have a spat and then we have to do the show, we might be a little like, hi, Rick, how you doing? And people who watch us regularly might be like, okay, something's up with them too.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Try to hide it as best you can, but people are slick. Right? They see through it. Oh, yeah.
They can see it, right? So, but on TikTok, people are slow motion. But they're not wrong. There's something going on. You know what I mean? But I actually think that what she said was profound. I thought it needed to be said. She didn't say it was different between white and black. She did not say that, or women and men. She did not say that. But that is the inference that, it's kind of like Viola Davis. Viola Davis, if you don't know who she is, I mean, you should. You know what? I'm not going to do that because y'all should know who Viola Davis is. If you don't, Google her because I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She has said that a million times. A million times. She does not get the same amount of money as Meryl Streep does.
Right.
And you know what? As somebody who just watches people and appreciates acting, and I love the art of acting, you are not going to tell me Viola Davis is not as good as Meryl Streep. You know, like not ever.
She's amazing. She's amazing for sure.
She is amazing.
I watched that show where she was the lawyer and training up the younger lawyers. What's that called? About murder or something? Something with murder.
What is it? Murder something?
Something with murder.
I watched a couple episodes. That wasn't it's not my genre. It's not my genre.
Yeah, but she was great in that. She was amazing.
That was her breakout. That was her first breakout thing. Oh, getting away with murder. Yeah. That's right. Ooh, Cynthia on it tonight. I'm glad you're feeling better, girl. I'm so happy.
We need Cynthia.
Yeah, I'm just glad she's feeling better because I was worried about it so much. What else you got coming up as far as movies or shows you want to see?
I guess next, now there's more drama with Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds went off, I guess, on Igor.
What are you talking about?
Igor, what's his name? That's like the head of Disney or something. They had a beef.
No, they didn't. Are you serious?
Yeah. And so I'm like, listen, wait till your movie comes out and then yell at him. Like,
what was he yelling at? Ryan Reynolds ain't yelling at nobody. Was he being funny or sarcastic?
I don't know, but they had some kind of beef. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I didn't pay attention that hard, but yeah, some kind of beef with them.
All about the joy where you get all the gossip on anything Marvel.
Spill all the tea up in here.
We're going to give you all the gossip all the time on Marvel.
But it's interesting because it's literally the only Marvel, not Sony, because Spider-Man was on Sony. Only Marvel movie in 2024 is Deadpool. That's it.
Is it really? Is that the only one coming out?
It's the only one. Everything else is
the writer's
Sony.
strike and the writers and actors strikes. Everything got pushed back. Yep. Two of the clients I work for, we just did projections for January through March, and we're getting hit now because you know what I mean? Like, but it's going to be okay because it's over with, but you start to see the trickle down of, how you get hit with that. So I didn't realize Deadpool was the only movie coming. Are you sure?
Movie, not TV shows. There's shows
what
coming out.
What TV shows are coming out? Do you know?
I don't know.
That I might be interested in.
I know the times, but did you like the Scarlet Witch and Vision one?
I did not. I was the only one, I think, that didn't love that. Everyone loved it. It was so quirky, but I didn't love because you had to watch a few episodes to understand what was happening.
Yeah. So there's a spinoff with Agatha, which is the bad person.
Ooh, but I liked her.
Which you didn't know until the end. Right. It's like, and then they made that song. It was Agatha.
Right.
It's such a great song.
Yeah, and I love
her. She's going to get a show, and people are wondering, is the Scarlet Witch going to come back in her show? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to think what else. They have a lot of things in the work. I mean, they've been talking about doing like young Avengers, like teenagers.
Oh God, no! Please don't. I mean, I actually think they need to stop doing so much.
It's a lot.
I think they need to back it up, because it's becoming its own genre and it's becoming boring.
And now the animated What If, which is why I saw you write What If before. I was like,
we're going to talk about
that. They're going to be showing it for, I don't know if it starts today or tomorrow, but it's like one episode a day for Christmas. I think it might be starting either today or tomorrow.
Where?
I'm assuming that's on Disney Plus, I assume.
On Disney Plus, yeah.
So one a day instead of one a week. It's literally one a day. Like they're doing it for Christmas. And I saw the previews and there's some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm not into the animated things as much. I'm just not. I tried, you know what I mean? But I mean, I love Marvel, but I was kind of, don't hate me. I was kind of done with Endgame. And you know what? Every time I see a clip, because, somebody on TikTok always puts the clip of, it's two parts. Either Robert Downey Jr., I am Iron Man or whatever. I am inevitable, whatever, that whole scene. Yeah. But the clip that always gets me, it doesn't matter how many times I see it, is when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, right? Because you don't know, the way they shoot it is so great because you see the hammer, that Thor has been laid out, by, what's his name again? What's that horrible man?
The Thanos?
Thanos. He's been laid out by Thanos, right? They've been fighting. He's been laid out, and the hammer's there, and they shoot it. The way I just love the art of filmmaking, right? The way you see the hammer, and then all of a sudden it's picked up.
And you see who picked it up.
And you're like, oh my God. Because it means he's so worthy. And we knew he was.
Right.
Because if you watch Stargate, sorry. If you watch Avengers, don't tell me it's Avengers.
I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about. It's the one where Vision.
It's the one with Vision.
Where he first showed up. Yeah.
Right. It's
because he's like, you can't pick it up. You can't pick it up.
And he nudges.
And he did it. It moved a little bit. And Thor's face was like, oh crap! Like
only Thor saw that though. That he kind of nudged it, you know. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah. He did it.
Yeah, no, I can't let it.
Every time I see that episode, every time
I saw a video yesterday.
That TikTok, I get like teary-eyed because it was that was a great. You know what? That's why I get mad at like Martin Scorsese and stuff. I have not since then seen Age of Ultron. Look at Cynthia. Let me help you.
That's why we need Cynthia in here.
That's why we need Cynthia. Yeah, Age of Ultron. That's right. The Avengers, Age of Ultron. So this is what I'm saying when I get mad at Martin Scorsese when they talk about it not being real movies or real good, whatever. I have yet since Endgame had an experience like that in a movie theater. Where I am completely consumed in the moment of the story and cheering and crying because we're winning.
Right. There was one scene in the one with the 3 Spider-Men, with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And
Which one? No, you're right. When the 3
that was very close. Right. When MJ is falling and Andrew Garfield, different Spider-Man, he's like, oh, we ain't doing this again. And he dives in. And I saw a video of people in the theater and the people are like, yeah! They were screaming, going crazy. And I'm not going to lie.
What? That was awesome. And I'm saying, you know what, you're right. You know what I mean, though. I meant it more about like Martin Scorsese not understanding and appreciating. But you're right. That was great. That was an awesome moment as well.
I think Martin's just old.
Is it old? Is it old? Steven Spielberg is old and he doesn't say that.
He's always been hip.
Oh my God. Okay. You just made yourself look old. He's always been hip. I'm just going to throw that out there. But here's what I think it is. I'm stuttering a lot tonight, but
I didn't notice.
I don't think it's the hip thing. Let's not use that word ever again. No, I'm just kidding. Because all the youngins are going to be like, man, they're motherfucking old. Oh, I swore once. I was trying not to swear.
Oh, no, but you did good so far.
I've been doing good, though, right?
Listen, these young people got their new words. We can bring up our old words. Talking about like, you got the drip. The what?
You got the drip. No, my favorite one is, what is it? Like fizz?
I don't even understand half of these words these kids use.
But wait. Here's what I was going to say. I think Steven Spielberg is more childlike. When you can retain your ability to be in wonder, in that space of wonder and enjoyment, you can appreciate any Marvel movie, any, DC, whatever, any action kind of fantasy. Does that make sense? Like, that's what bothers me about Martin Scorsese. Like, if I knew him personally, I would go up to him and be like, first of all, stop talking ever about anyone else doing filmmaking. Like, not fair, shut up. And just because it's commercial and just because a lot of people like it that you don't understand doesn't make it not worthy,
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony. How you doing, baby? Thank you.
That's what Disney does for Cynthia.
Okay, we're going to give you a moment to breathe. We're going to give you a moment to breathe.
He looks like he's pent up with stuff to say.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna get some more water because I'm stuttering a lot, whatever. So you guys give me just a minute. I can hear you, though. I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right, Tony, go.
How do you not know the Age of Ultron was the one where Vision came in?
No, I couldn't think of the title of the movie. I know the movie. I just couldn't think of the title of the movie.
Gotcha. And the other movie, nothing against Cynthia, but it was How to Get Away with Murder. She put Getting Away with Murder. I was like, okay, y'all sit here listening.
Close enough. We know you, man.
I'm sitting there trying to drive and keep my eyes on the road. I'm like, what they say?
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
was a
god,
great show.
it was controversial.
Oh yeah.
She's really going to leave us in charge while she's not here. You know,
That shows you she trusts us.
The Jonathan Major situation bothers me. I think the timing was off based on what happened. I didn't even get the whole story as well. Listen to me. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey.
I didn't like it. I hate that. I mean, he was just starting to really get a presence in the Marvel universe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was actually
I'm sorry.
about to be an absolute major character.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, a lot of this coming out, the timing's off. But I don't know when the situation happened as well.
Yeah.
I really don't. The Taraji P. Henson, I saw the interview. I saw the clip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised.
Right.
But if anything, I do want to throw out there that just goes to show that the people who are making more money than us are still being taxed and economically taken advantage of as much as the rest of us. Most of us are only living off of 30% of our income anyway. The most of us are. The way you do your numbers, the way you use your numbers. If she didn't have the staff, she would have more money, but she needs the staff for what she does. And that's just my take on what's going on. All I caught was when you all were talking about Jonathan Majors and Taraji P. Henson, because I was out trying to get something to eat, and I was going to watch the game for a minute. Then I said,
You can go. You don't have to. I appreciate you coming on. You didn't have to break up your night. I appreciate you.
I wasn't. You didn't break it up. The game is.
They're losing. Is that why you here?
No, I was actually like drinking and tripping out with folks. And then I was like, okay, let me go and take myself home because I don't want to go out and drink and then get pulled over. And the cops was out. So I said, let me take my butt home.
Right.
I'm actually glad you did do this because I was going to get back around now anyway, get ready for Ted's show. So this just made me come home earlier and drink less. Good job.
You're coming on next week, though. We're going to have you on next week, and we're going to have a whole conversation about Christmas and whatever. But go ahead. Tell me what you think about Jonathan Majors, because I didn't hear that part. Did you already talk about Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, I told him. I think the time was off. I don't know when the situation happened, but all of this is starting to happen right as he's starting to blow up because he's about to be a real major character in the Marvel universe. Real major. Huge. Yeah. And
no pun intended, major.
Right.
Yeah, good job. I don't know if anybody saw that second season of Loki. He was phenomenal.
Can I just say that was one of my favorites. The whole Loki, this last episode, this whole series was amazing. Loki was great.
Jonathan Majors was phenomenal.
He was amazing. Amazing.
He was phenomenal on that. So this, to me, it seems like when you're about to rise, they find a way to bring you back to reality for some reason. That's just what it looks like to me. I don't know the whole story and what's going on. I don't like it. He did Creed. He did do a couple of Kangs. He's been doing good with movies and things are starting to come out with the projects that he's done. I just don't like what's happening. And I don't know if anybody's seeing this or not, but they're taking out a lot of celebrities.
What do you mean taking out? What do you mean taking out?
You could take the situations happening with him and the accusations against him. You could take the situations happening with Diddy and the accusations against him. You take a situation with R. Kelly and the accusations against a lot of the major celebrities.
Okay, wait. Let's not conflate P. Diddy, R. Kelly,
I'm just saying
Jonathan Majors.
A lot of celebrities, major celebrities, for some reason, things are just getting.
Okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to conflate. Those are three different things,
That's
and
fine.
those other two, I'm not even. I am not even putting in the same. I have much more compassion for Jonathan Majors in this situation than I do for Diddy. And
you may know more than I do, and that's fine.
No, I don't know nothing. I'm not with the lawyers and doing investigations. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, you can, Jonathan Majors thing, I can at least, with the information we do have, we can see that Rick might be onto something. Mm-hmm. And yet I'm still going to believe the jury because I want to believe in our system of government because we have to start finding a way to believe in something that works in this country. But the other two, Diddy's been having a reputation. That's a whole other conversation. You know what I mean? So I don't want to conflate those two. Is that fair? Rick, do you think that's fair? I think that's fair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And honestly, musicians versus actors, it's a whole different thing somehow,
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that because I always think celebrities, but you're right. That's a really good point.
Because, an actor can get a big head, but it's different with a musician. When a musician really blows up, they really get a big head. I don't know why, but.
Nah, I
But you know
think
what?
he's-
I'm going to totally end the show so that Tony can go do his thing.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. And remember, it's always all about the joy. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays and enjoy the weekend. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. All about the joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.